If you're going to travel with me to Los Angeles, I've got to give you a couple guidelines. Number one, don't ask me a single question.
What's your favorite color? What age did you lose your virginity? Do you like hot dogs? I once ate a foot-long corn dog on a nude beach.
There are journeys that begin with careful planning, precise timing, and a clear destination. And then there are journeys that spiral completely out of control, unraveling into chaos with every passing mile. And the story of Due Date belongs firmly in the latter category, unfolding as a relentless collision between order and absurdity, between control and unpredictability, centered around a man whose entire world hinges on reaching home in time for one of the most important moments of his life. Peter Highman is not the kind of person who embraces uncertainty. He is structured, methodical, and deeply invested in maintaining control over his circumstances, which makes the ticking clock of his wife's impending childbirth all the more pressing. With only days left before the due date, every second matters, every delay feels catastrophic, and the margin for error is non-existent. Yet, from the very beginning, fate seems determined to dismantle his plans piece by piece, starting with a chance encounter that will derail everything he thought he could rely on. The moment Peter crosses paths with Ethan Tremblay, the trajectory of his journey changes irreversibly. Ethan is the kind of individual who exists in a completely different rhythm of life, one that defies logic, structure, and often basic social awareness. He is an aspiring actor, full of misplaced confidence and odd habits, carrying with him not just his belongings, but an entire ecosystem of eccentricity that seeps into every interaction. Where Peter is rigid and calculated, Ethan is impulsive and oblivious, creating a dynamic that is as volatile as it is oddly compelling. Their initial interaction is marked by discomfort and confusion, a mismatch so glaring that it feels almost inevitable that their paths should diverge as quickly as possible, yet circumstances conspire to bind them together in a way neither of them could have anticipated. What begins as a minor inconvenience quickly escalates into a full-blown crisis when a sequence of misunderstandings and unfortunate events results in Peter being placed on a no-fly list. Suddenly, the straightforward plan of boarding a flight and arriving home in time is replaced by a far more daunting challenge, crossing the country by land with limited resources, dwindling patience, and no viable alternatives. It is here that Ethan re-enters the picture, offering a solution that is as questionable as it is unavoidable. Despite every instinct telling him otherwise, Peter finds himself with no choice but to accept a ride from the very person who embodies everything he cannot stand, setting the stage for a journey defined by escalating tension and unpredictable detours. As the miles begin to accumulate, so too do the complications, each more absurd and exasperating than the last. Ethan's peculiarities are not just quirks, they are catalysts for chaos, turning even the simplest tasks into elaborate ordeals. Whether it is his tendency to overshare deeply personal information, his inability to read social cues, or his bizarre attachment to his dog, every aspect of his personality seems engineered to test Peter's limits. And yet, beneath the irritation and frustration, there is something strangely disarming about Ethan's sincerity, a genuine, if misguided, optimism that contrasts sharply with Peter's growing desperation. The road itself becomes a character in the story, an ever-changing landscape that mirrors the unpredictability of their situation. From bustling highways to desolate stretches of desert, each environment presents its own challenges and opportunities for disaster. The car, their shared space, becomes both a refuge and a battleground, a confined arena where their clashing personalities are forced into constant interaction. Conversations that begin as mundane quickly spiral into arguments, misunderstandings, and moments of reluctant camaraderie, revealing layers of both characters that might otherwise remain hidden. Peter's frustration is not merely a reaction to inconvenience, it is rooted in genuine fear and anxiety about missing a moment that cannot be reclaimed. The impending birth of his child represents a pivotal moment in his life, a transition into fatherhood that he is determined to meet with presence and responsibility. Every delay feels like a step further away from that goal, amplifying his sense of urgency and making Ethan's unpredictability all the more intolerable. Yet, as the journey progresses, it becomes increasingly clear that control is an illusion, and that the path to his destination will require more than just adherence to a plan. Ethan, for his part, exists in a world shaped by aspiration and imagination, pursuing a career in acting with a level of confidence that borders on delusion. His stories, often meandering and embellished, paint a picture of someone who refuses to be constrained by reality, embracing instead the possibility of becoming something greater. While Peter initially dismisses him as incompetent and irritating, there are moments when Ethan's perspective offers a different way of looking at the world, one that values experience and connection over precision and control. It is in these moments that the dynamic between them begins to shift, however subtly, suggesting that their journey is not just about reaching a destination, but about confronting the assumptions they hold about themselves and each other. The obstacles they encounter are not limited to their interpersonal conflicts. External challenges continually raise the stakes, pushing them further into situations that test their resilience and adaptability. Encounters with strangers, run-ins with authority figures, and a series of increasingly unfortunate mishaps create a sense of constant motion, a narrative that refuses to settle into predictability. Each setback forces them to improvise, to find solutions in the midst of chaos, and to rely on each other in ways that neither would willingly choose under normal circumstances. As tension builds, so too does the possibility of transformation. Peter's rigid worldview begins to show cracks, his carefully constructed sense of control eroded by the reality of his situation. He is forced to confront not only the limitations of his plans, but also the emotional barriers he has constructed, barriers that prevent him from fully engaging with the unpredictability of life. Ethan, despite his many flaws, becomes an unlikely catalyst for this shift, challenging Peter to reconsider what truly matters in the face of uncertainty. At the same time, Ethan's own vulnerabilities come into sharper focus, revealing a depth that lies beneath his eccentric exterior. His aspirations, while often played for humor, are rooted in a genuine desire for recognition and purpose, a longing to be seen and valued in a world that does not always take him seriously. In Peter, he finds not just a reluctant companion, but someone who, despite initial resistance, begins to acknowledge his humanity and potential. This evolving dynamic adds a layer of emotional complexity to the narrative, transforming what might otherwise be a straightforward comedy into something more nuanced and resonant. The journey is punctuated by moments of absurdity that push the boundaries of plausibility, yet it is precisely this exaggeration that underscores the central themes of the story. The unpredictability of life, the necessity of adaptation, and the importance of human connection are all explored through scenarios that are as entertaining as they are revealing. Each misadventure serves as a reminder that control is often an illusion and that the path to meaningful experiences is rarely straightforward. As the distance to their destination gradually decreases, the emotional stakes continue to rise, culminating in a race against time that is as much internal as it is external. Peter's determination to be present for the birth of his child becomes a driving force that propels the narrative forward, infusing every decision with urgency and significance. Yet it is his evolving relationship with Ethan that ultimately shapes the outcome of the journey, highlighting the ways in which unexpected connections can alter the course of our lives. By the time they approach the end of their journey, both men have undergone transformations that, while subtle, are undeniably significant. Peter's rigid adherence to control has given way to a more flexible, albeit still anxious, approach to life, one that acknowledges the value of adaptability and connection. Ethan, in turn, gains a sense of validation and purpose, his aspirations no longer dismissed outright, but recognized as part of a broader journey towards self-discovery. The story of Due Date is, at its core, a narrative about the collision of opposites and the unexpected outcomes that arise from such encounters. It is a testament to the idea that even the most chaotic and frustrating experiences can yield moments of insight and growth, that the people we least expect to impact our lives can leave the most lasting impressions. Through its blend of humor, tension, and emotional depth, the film captures the essence of a journey that is as unpredictable as it is transformative, reminding us that sometimes the path we resist the most is the one that leads us exactly where we need to be.